Welcome to day 8 of our object oriented programming course. Today we will dive into lists, an essential data structure in Python. We will cover everything from basic list operations to advanced techniques like list comprehension. Let's start with the basics. A list is an ordered collection of items in Python. Lists are flexible, they can contain elements of various data types like numbers, string, or even other lists. For example, you can create a list like this: my list equals to 1, 2, 3, Python. As you can see, this list contains both integers and a string. Now let's explore some common list methods that will help us manipulate lists efficiently. We can use methods like .append x to add an element to the end of a list, or .insert I, x to insert an element at a specific position. If we need to remove an item, .remove x will do that, and .pop I allows us to remove an item at a given index. Don't forget about .sort to arrange list items in order, and .reverse to reverse the order of elements. Slicing is another powerful feature in Python lists. You can extract a portion of a list using the slice syntax. List start stop step. For example, my list 1 4 gives us elements from index 1 to 3. You can also slice with a step like my list 2, which will return every second item from the list. Remember, slicing does not change the original list, it returns a new one. Next, let's talk about nested lists. A nested list is a list that contains other lists as elements. For example, nested list equals to containing the lists 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. You can access elements within nested lists by using multiple indices. For instance, nested list 0 gives us the first list 1, 2, and nested list 0, 1 gives us 2. When working with nested lists, you might need to iterate through both the outer and inner lists. You can use a nested loop for this. Here's an example. For each sublist in the nested list, loop through each item in that sublist and print the item. This allows you to access every element, no matter how deeply nested it is. Let's move on to list comprehension, a concise way to create lists based on existing iterables. The syntax is simple: expression for item in iterable if condition. For instance, x ** 2 for x in range 5 generates the squares of numbers from 0 to 4, producing 0, 1, 4, 9, and 16. List comprehension makes code more readable and efficient. You can also use list comprehension with conditions. For example, x for x in range 10 if x modulo 2 equals to 0 will generate a list of even numbers between 0 and 9. And you can even use list comprehension to create nested lists like x for x in range 3 for y in range 2, which creates 0, 1, 2 and 0, 1, 2. Now it's time for you to practice what we have learned today. Here are some exercises for you. Create a list and perform methods like append, remove, and sort, and also try slicing the list. Work with a nested list and iterate through it to sum all the numbers. Use list comprehension to find numbers divisible by 3 in a range and create a multiplication table. For your mini project, we will build a simple to-do list app. We will use lists to hold tasks and dictionaries to store additional details like the task name, due date, and status. Here's an example of a task stored in a dictionary. This will help you get comfortable with combining lists and dictionaries. To summarize, today we have learned that lists are an incredibly versatile data structure in Python. We explored various list methods, slicing techniques, and how to work with nested lists. We also saw how list comprehension can make our code more concise and readable. Make sure to practice these concepts as they are fundamental to Python programming.